Is this bad? What do I mean by that? We all know that the mobile version of the Super App was supposed to launch in the middle of March, at least according to their roadmap. But actually, we're almost at the end of May and we haven't seen the mobile version yet. Is that a bad thing? I'll get to that in today's video, even though I am not concerned actually, and even though I'll also talk about the price having around a 10% decrease in the past 24 hours. Talk about that soon, but first I want to clarify nothing I say is financial advice. I am not telling anyone to do anything, and this is just personally my opinion and my perspective. However, if we take a look at it, a lot of people like to say this is really bad because Zebec, they haven't been able to live up to what they said in the roadmap. Again, the mobile version was allegedly supposed to launch in the middle of March, but we're almost in the end of May and we haven't heard anything in regard to a launch yet. The reason why I'm not necessarily concerned is because, first of all, Zebec has recently made an update talking about how they're in the final testing stages when it comes to the mobile version of the Super App. So that's something we do know as of right now. And also, second of all, they already launched the desktop version. So it's not like they haven't done anything. And if we think about it, also, I can't really be too upset because all payroll and super app fees, basically, they are paid using Zebec. So at the end of the day, the super app, if anything, helps Zebec become better, in my opinion. It's a way to kind of consolidate some of the aspects when it comes to Zebec, like the payrolls and the cards in just one location. And again, I can't really be too upset with that, even though they did miss the intended launch of the mobile version of the super app. Maybe they encountered more difficulties because sometimes building something when it comes to the desktop version and suddenly making a mobile version of that, sometimes the transition really isn't as simple as just, oh, let's just take the desktop version and just put it to the mobile version like that. There needs to be a lot of differences. There needs to be a lot of alterations because, quite frankly, the way I would use a desktop is completely different than the way I would use a phone, like in terms of interacting with something. So again, I don't mind as long as it's good. The thing is, I don't mind the delay, but as long as the eventual end product is good, then I don't mind. Keep in mind, they're going to be launching the mobile version of the super app allegedly with 10 chains supported, and eventually it's going to become 20 chains, much like the desktop version in regard to the cards, in terms of, again, the chains that are supported. So if I take a look at it, Zebec is still doing things. And if we take a look at the track record of Zebec, sure, the market isn't doing the best as of right now, but if we remove that and we just take a look at purely what Zebec has been doing so far, the Algorand partnership, the Stellar partnership, the Ripple partnership, and also Simon not too long ago meeting with the team at Google at their office, and also not to mention Zebec achieving aspects of ISO 20022, MICA, and SOC2. When I take a look at that in its entirety, I wouldn't really say that a major hiccup is missing the launch of the mobile version of the Super App. I wouldn't say that is like such a major hiccup, right? I mean, it's a small speed bump, but it's nothing that has discredited Zebec in any sort of significant way because we take a look at the track record, Zebec so far, they have done quite a lot in terms of achieving things fundamentally. So having that slight misstep, thinking that the mobile version was going to be ready by the middle of March, but we're almost in the end of May and we haven't seen it yet. Again, I think that's a small hiccup considering in the grand scheme of things what Zebec has accomplished so far. It's like, for instance, Warren Buffett. I would arguably say that when it comes to, again, Warren Buffett, he's considered very successful, right? But he hasn't always gotten it 100% of the time. Case in point, like for instance, we do know Berkshire Hathaway did very good with Apple. We know that Warren Buffett did very good with Coca-Cola. But what did he not do good at, basically? That's newspapers. Because remember not too long ago, when a lot of people were leaving newspapers, Warren Buffett basically doubled down. And in hindsight, that was kind of a mistake, right? Because, now a lot of people like to say that, oh, newspapers are cooked. Some people like to say that. So that's a case of a hiccup, maybe, in Warren Buffett. But if we consider his track record, that newspaper hiccup is not such a major problem in the grand scheme of things because he's made up for it in many other ways. It just kind of reminds me of Zebec. The delayed launch of the mobile version of the Super App, it's kind of like a small issue in the grand scheme of things, considering all the things that Zebec has done so far. Now, beyond that, though, people like to say, well, is the delay of the mobile version of the super app, is that what is causing Zebec to have around a 10% decrease in the past 24 hours? Well, the answer is no, in my opinion. The reason why is because Bitcoin had a pretty big pullback, which inherently made Zebec have a pullback as well. I mean, it isn't because Zebec has been doing things bad fundamentally. No, it's just because the overall market sentiment has been going down. However, case in point, do I necessarily find this to be such a bad thing? Well, let's rewind the clock a little bit, not even that far. If I take a look at, for instance, just around a couple months ago, like take a look at back in February. Did you know that back in February, the market cap when it comes to Zebec was around 160 million? So we're almost 2 times higher than that. Keep in mind, even if Zebec goes back to those levels, even back in February, I didn't mind dollar cost averaging into it. Considering how I dollar cost average also even back in February, compared to right now, it's not underwater in a sense where we're almost 2 times higher than February. That's the thing. Now, I think also this indicates that I will never be able to time the market any sort of way. There's just no way I could do that. So I just dollar cost average once a month. But the reason why I use that February example is to showcase that, okay, if let's say Zebec were to go to that low again around a 160 million market cap, even if it goes back there, I'm not concerned because back in February, I wasn't so concerned either. That's the thing. That's just my mindset. So Zebec is not doing anything that's out of the ordinary. It's just really kind of following what the market is doing basically when it comes to the space and having a pullback. But that doesn't concern me because my mindset is yours anyways. Moving forward, like let's say a couple years, maybe in the future, this type of stuff is not something I'm going to dwell on in a sense where it's not going to be something I'm going to be like, oh, wow, remember back in 2026? I can't believe Zebec had a 10% pullback. I wouldn't think about it that way. It's like, for instance, people who cared about Bitcoin, let's say 10 years ago, are they right now caring about, oh, I remember back then in 2016 when I acquired Bitcoin at this certain point or whatever? They're not dwelling on that anymore because it's long gone. Bitcoin has done hypothetically a lot better ever since then. But it required waiting, right, to see where Bitcoin led up to, basically, from 2016 up until right now. Even with the pullback still, it's much better off than it was back in 2016. It's like, for instance, if I don't even want to take a look at it that far, when I first believed in Zebec, kind of, in 2024, basically, the market cap was below 100 million when I first cared about it. Even when I first believed in it, it was over 2 times lower than where it is currently, basically around 3 times lower. Moving forward, if things hypothetically do pretty okay, who knows? All these movements, it's just background noise at the end of the day. But of course, it would require me to wait up until leading to that moment. But I don't mind because I'm in the frame of mind where I might have to wait for years anyways. So it is what it is. I'd rather just focus on the projects which keep building, which keep thriving, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. However, I am not telling anyone to do anything. I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.